Senator, did you meet with the governor this morning, and if so, what was discussed?
I met with the governor this morning, and the Speaker and I both met with him. And I asked him for his resignation, and the Speaker asked him for his resignation.
What did the governor say? Will he resign?
He was struggling. It's unclear to me whether he will or not. He did give me a note later on. I was at the podium presiding that he was trying to reach the Secretary of State to set up a transition. So I don't know what that means, but that's as much as I know.
What was it that made you ask for his resignation today?
The magnitude of the distractions, we are doing very well. I think I can say that, but you'll be the judge of that, in terms of the legislature continuing to function with hearings and work sessions and sessions in the House and Senate floor, passing out bills and passing bills. But clearly, our ability to meet with the governor's staff, whether we should or not, have the governor even appear before certain committees. It's well known now that I asked him not to appear before a committee earlier. There's some other things I won't go into in terms of what's going on with his own staff. It just seems to me that the perceptions and the distractions had reached a point that and I didn't want to do this, and you have to understand, he met with me in this office on Tuesday and led me to believe he was going to resign. He wanted to do it over, have a transition period with the Secretary of State. I supported that. He noted me he would come later in the week, so I was ready to go. I even had a statement prepared. And so he was going to take care of himself, and then I couldn't tell anybody because he swore me to secrecy. So I told my wife later that night, the only one I told. And next thing I know, a bombshell happened yesterday. What happened? What's going on? Secretary of State's coming back. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, I'm not going to resign. And I just said, I can't, what's going on? I don't know. I can't fix this. I can't fix it. I can't make it better. I can't save anybody. And so I had received some signals that if I went to him and told him, and I was hoping never to do that. I mean, who am I? I don't have any right to ask the governor to resign. Who am I? There's no special powers. The Senate President has to do that. But I talked to the Speaker, went back and forth, and decided he needed to know that we felt he should resign. So I don't know where in there I concluded I should do it. I don't know. I'm not trying to do anything profound. I just said, Governor, I need to tell you, I asked, it was very short, I sped off, I'm asking you to resign. So I don't know what else to tell you.
What was his response?
Well, I tried to tell you, he was upset. He's defiant. I mean, he's struggling. I'm not going to go into all the personal things. He's struggling because of things that are going on. So,
What did you think of Kate Brown's statement this morning concerning the meeting?
Well, I didn't even know that. That's another thing. This thing is evolving by the second, because I told the governor, and I told the Speaker, I was going to meet with both the Senate Democrats and Republican caucuses. I was not going to make a statement at the podium today because we had a session. So I have now met with all the state senators and their caucuses and told them of my role in this. And I was unaware of the Secretary of State's statement until I was going into the caucus. They said, Peter, you need to know that Kate said the following. And I just thought it's a remarkable statement, because I had heard by rumor and through some of you reports that she had actually been summoned to come back, told to come back, got back here and said, why are you here? So, and I have been involved somewhat trying to get security to the Secretary of State for several days, the Speaker and I have. I was trying to be supportive, so it's an amazing statement. It's what I thought he was when I heard she was coming back yesterday, I thought, okay, this is part of what he told me on Tuesday, that he was going to resign, he wanted a transition plan, and therefore that's what was going to happen. So, but then to have it happen this way, her statement is basically saying what is going on. But Kate Brown can speak for herself, the Secretary of State. So,
where did you meet with the governor this morning?
We met in his private office. It's funny. I made a point. I walked from here to the middle of the patio, and the Speaker came towards me. And at that moment, we went through the back doors of the ceremonial office, which was locked down. We waited there until he summoned us in his private office. So that's where we met with him.
And how long roughly was this meeting?
Staff, 10, 20, 15 minutes. I think, I lost track of time. My chief of staff, how long? I don't know, 10 to 15,
10 or 15, yeah.
something like that.
Do you have any concerns about the governor's mental health?
Don't do that, Ken. I have all kinds of concerns. I mean, mental, you mean, the man is struggling. I just hope I'm not doing anything that's gonna make things worse for him. That's what a statement that is. So, I don't know where you wanna go with this. I don't know what you're trying to get me to say, not that you're trying to get me to say anything. I'm worried about everything, and so, he's hurting, he's struggling, so I'm worried about him.
When you read Kate Brown's statement, she says the governor asked her on a private phone call to get on a plane and come back here. When she landed in Oregon, he said, "What are you doing here?"
Right.
Does that mental state, is that one of the
I'm not
reasons?
gonna comment
Is
now.
that one of the reasons you asked him to resign?
I'm not going to get into mental state. Don't do that to me. I'm not a psychiatrist. I just, that was one of the things in the end I finally said, this has got to stop. I mean, I don't know what else to do right now. It seems to be escalating. It seems to be getting worse and worse. And so I didn't know what else to do. So to the extent I was a player, we had gotten some signals, Peter, you need to talk to the governor, you and the speaker. So we talked all last night, the speaker and I back and forth, do we do it, we not do it? Decided we're just going to do it. So we did it.
What have you heard about the governor's staff? You mentioned that briefly.
I'm not going to get into that. That is. You need to take that up with others. I'm not going to tell you everything I know. I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'm being open. I'm being fair. But don't ask me to go into everything. I'm not going to do that.
Senator, do you believe John Kitzhaber will be governor by the end of today?
What?
Are you expecting his resignation today?
I don't know what to expect.
Well, you're one of
That's-
three people who asked for it this morning.
That is
I'm wondering
correct.
if
And
you
so I
expect
do
it
not
today.
know what to expect in view of my conversations with him. That's one of the reasons. I mean, I don't know what's coming next. I don't know what's coming next. So I don't know.
You
I
said
know you want a more profound, but sometimes you just got to say, I don't know.
Senator,
I don't know.
yeah, can I ask you, do you think the allegations have been raised about how, he conducted himself in the governor's office, how the first lady did, the consulting contracts, is that what has led you to feel in the end he can't be the leader anymore? Or are there other...
I'm not going to get into allegations or investigations. Clearly, you know what they are. There's a lot of those allegations. There's a lot of investigation. It's all, I don't know where the straw that on the camel, I don't know where all that is for me. Do you know what I mean? You figure that out. It's just, it's ongoing. It's ongoing. It's ongoing. It's ongoing. And the legislature up to now has done an extraordinary job to still stay focused. But there is some interaction, do we meet with certain staff? Do we not meet with certain staff? Do I have certain people in a room if I'm going to meet with certain staff people? I don't want to get into all that, have to live that way. This is a very dynamic state legislature, very dynamic way we govern ourselves, do we not? And I don't want to get into all those checks and balances that I'm starting to get into. So you be the judge as to what did it. All that's on the table, Jim. All that is under consideration. I can't point to one thing that did it. I mean, this isn't the first day of this. This is ongoing. So it's on this day, at this time, and this hour. It happened.
Would you characterize this as a major disruption?
Look around me. The press doesn't even know who I am, and this room doesn't have enough room for it. Something's not going right. They're not here because I did something good necessarily. You're not particularly you. So just kidding. Yeah, you're all here. This is a disruption. You yourself, by being here, define a disruption. This is a disruption, is it not? Why you wouldn't be here?
So
If the
Kate
governor
Brown-
That's not a dumb question, but you asked me.
Yeah, if the governor doesn't resign, are you going to take some further steps?
There is no further. I have no further state. You don't understand. We have no powers. I'm not God. No. What am I going to do? I'm not going to stop committees from meeting. I'm not going to stop the session. We got work to do. I got to get it all done by July. I'm not going to. No. He's going to do what he's going to do. I said that at the very beginning. I'm just Peter. He's the governor of the state of Oregon.
Senator, you
you've
said
worked-
he left you and he passed you a note about a transition?
I know it was delivered to me, that he had reached, I don't know, something about, Secretary of State, I'm starting something, I'm looking for help back there somewhere. The words that he was meeting to create,
He was meeting and planning a next move.
transition, well, I thought transition, so that's what I went, oh, does that mean that? So I don't know.
And that note came to you when? I apologize.
I was on the podium in the session. I went out and said, we just
This morning.
10:30 session. I'm up there doing what you said, Brian, and they brought it over. I said, open, looked at it. That's where it came
The
to.
governor brought it over to you at the
No, he did not. It was delivered to me by chief of staff who'd gotten it from one of the governor's staff. Is that correct? Let's get it right. That's how it happened.
You still have the
So if
note?
a transition is being discussed, then who's being discussed to replace Kate Brown?
I have no idea.
You don't know?
No. I have, what? I don't have any idea. I'm not part of, I don't really, I tell you the truth, I'm not thinking about that.
If there is a transition, what role, if any, does the legislature have in that regard, since we have not had one of these for the lifetimes of most of us?
You have a co-chair's budget on January 14th, the earliest ever. Thank God. That in itself becomes a significant budget, more than, in terms of proposal, Peter, you know that. I don't know, we got executive appointments. Executive appointments are coming up, do you know what I mean? Who's the executive appointment? I mean, this thing gets very involved in terms of our dependence or interrelationship with the executive branch and the legislative branch during a legislative session. That's why it makes this so significant, in my humble opinion.
So what happens to the executive appointments?
I don't know, Peter. I don't know. We don't know. I can't. How am I going to answer that question? Clearly, if there's a transition, the individual coming in, Kate Brown, will make a decision regarding those executive appointments, whether that would be hers or not. But that would be her choice, because you have a new governor. And the governor makes those proposals to the Senate, who has the constitutional responsibility to confirm certain appointments made by our governor after they go through our committee process. I'm just giving you, for instance, Peter, as you know this process.
Do you ever think you'd be in a position to ask a sitting governor to step down?
Did I? No, I never thought no. I mean, no. And not only did I ever think, I didn't want, you do not understand. I go back to 1981 with this person. This is not something I don't even want to go into how I'm feeling. Not only did I not think it, not only did I not want it, I thought I never dreamed that I'd be in this position. Ever, ever. You know something? You tell me how to do this. That sounds great. You're going to do fun with that. My state, I said it yesterday to somebody who'd listen, we're not used to this. We're not used to this kind of thing. This is historic. Well, if it's historic, how about me? I'm not used to this. I'm working this thing the best I can. So I never had a game plan. I never practiced this play. I never was on this team. I don't have any primer. I don't have any way of how you do this. So why? Because I never thought I'd be here, and it's never really happened this way before.
What do you want the people of Oregon to know?
Well, all right. I'm gonna do this, Robin.
I'm here.
This is a statement I prepared. This is the statement, I'm gonna read this statement, because I assumed a resignation was coming, okay? So I'm gonna read a statement, and I'm gonna say no more, because this says it all. If I can I read the statement? It'll have been the press release. All right. He served in the Oregon House as a representative. He served in the Oregon State Senate. He was the president of the Oregon State Senate for a record number of years. He was elected and served as Oregon's governor more than 12 years, longer than anyone else. No public servant is given more to Oregon. And there is another side. He is a friend. He is a son. He is a brother. He is a father. He is a human being. It is all these things for which I hope he is remembered. I hope all these things are his legacy. He deserves that. Governor John Albert Kitzhaber, MD, I'm sorry. I know that together Oregon and her people will get through this.